And we're live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show. I'm Lawrence Winterman.
I am Dana Dubois.
Hello,
Better
Dana
late than
Dubois.
never. Hello, Lawrence Winterman. How's it going, best friend?
Good. Oh, I just got a text from you that is probably saying, "Where the hell are you?"
Y'all, I am the one who's late, if anyone is late, because, West Coast time, it's like very hard to get out of bed this early. But this morning, for the record, let it be known, I was there first. That is a first. So I'm pretty pleased about it. And I don't know. We take our wins where we can get them.
Right.
Lawrence, I feel discombobulated this morning too. So,
It's a weird morning, I have to say.
yeah, you're 3 hours ahead of me. What do I have to look forward to? What's
Oh,
extra weird today?
I mean, in Trump's America, just every day is an adventure in fucked up shit.
You are not you are not wrong about that at all. I
I don't even actually know what's happening in the world yet today. I haven't gotten that far. I just have had enough other stuff to deal with this morning that I'm already feeling discombobulated and scattered on my own. I don't even need the general craziness of the world at this moment in
oh,
time.
honey, I'm sorry. I know we were having an interesting conversation yesterday, and it made me think a few things. And I mean offline, Lawrence and I we talk on the phone too sometimes because 5 hours a week live isn't enough time with Lawrence for me at least. But we were talking, and it made me think two things. One is we need to start scheduling in some shows where it's just you and me just shooting the shit because I miss those because we've had so many amazing guests, and we have one coming today too.
We have an
Um,
amazing guest today as well. Yes, I'm never going to complain that we have amazing guests every day of the
never,
week.
never.
But yeah, we don't
Cast from the
have
Golden
our
Farm is
bestie time anymore.
We don't. Well, we haven't for a couple of weeks. It doesn't mean we don't have it anymore because I refuse to say we don't have it anymore. Um, and I'm gonna. You can't really vague book on Substack, I guess. But this morning, after a not very good night's sleep, I've been contemplating why the word vengeful is a negative, but avenge is a positive. The word nerd in me, for no reason and apropos to nothing at all, is contemplating that. And I wondered if you had any thoughts. Vengeful, that's negative. You're not allowed to be vengeful. But avenge, that's great.
Right.
How can you avenge without being vengeful?
It is interesting, right? That vengeance, I think generally sort of has a positive connotation to it in a way, right? Like because what it means is there was an injustice and you're seeking rectification for that injustice, right? Like
Right,
I want vengeance on Jonathan Ross and the Ice People, and that's not because I'm evil, it's because they're perpetrating evil. And I
right.
want to see good triumph over evil.
Yes,
So,
you want to avenge the wrong,
right.
the murder of Renee Good. But we are told not to be, that it's bad to be vengeful. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to reconcile that.
Yeah, I don't either. I wonder, is there anything in your life that makes you contemplate vengeance, Dana?
Nothing at all. Is there anything in yours that makes you contemplate it?
Oh, yeah, I don't think I
No.
should comment or I'm going to
Yeah.
get myself into trouble.
Yeah. We're not going to get into that kind of trouble. This is purely a theoretical word nerd conversation that I'm just stuck on the derivation of those words. If I had to guess, I think vengeance and being vengeful is bad because it's personal, but to avenge, you're doing it on behalf of someone else.
Right.
And so it's good. So perhaps I should take on your grudges and you should take on mine.
Oh, there you go.
And
We
then we
can
are
we could be
avenging.
each other's avengers.
Yeah, right. It's a whole like, isn't that a Marvel movie?
Right. It's a whole Marvel movie. They're good. The Avengers are good people.
Right? They have to be full of vengeance or they could not avenge. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
Maybe there might
Um
be more. Who knows? I also have to say, Lawrence, yesterday I got kind of carried away from me, but I went back last night and watched the clip that you made from yesterday where you read Trump's letter to the PM of
In
Norway
this voice.
in that voice. I shared it on on my in a note on my wall, and it is the funniest thing. It brought such great joy to me. Everyone should go like download that and play it when they're in a bad
Yeah,
mood.
honestly, I was kind of hoping it would go viral because I have to confess I watched it like 3 or 4 times because it made me laugh.
I
Partly because
maybe
I could hear the silly, voice thing,
This?
yeah.
and
Every time you do that, I'm just going to uncontrollably crack up.
yeah, no, seriously, like I could hear myself doing it and it made me kind of get into the character even more. So I was,
Yes, when you went China.
China.
Do it with the voice though. Do it with the voice now.
Oh,
China.
Yeah. Except that wasn't quite all high pitched, but it was still good.
oh,
Um,
oh, I'm pressing the wrong buttons.
China.
Perfect. Oh my God. Um, it's just so absurd. The world is so absurd. Maybe this becomes our thing, Lawrence, that you read Trump's letters or
Me in
idiot
the high pitched
speeches
voice. Yeah. Well,
while I crack up.
it's because he's
It's so
such a
absurd.
child. He's such a
Yes.
toddler. Like, of course they should be read in a ridiculous voice.
Yeah. You didn't give me the peace pie, so I don't care about peace anymore.
Right.
There
Right.
were boats
Seriously, you
that
didn't give me the
landed.
peace prize, and so now I don't have to care about peace? Oh, come on. Are you an
I'm
infant?
I didn't get to I know that Mark Carney gave a really incredible speech yesterday and got a standing ovation. I have not read it yet, but I or listened to it, but I know that he is
Yeah.
being lauded, and he essentially said the days of the United States being the economic powerhouse that it has been are over. What did he call it? A rupture? I think he called it a rupture.
Yeah. And he
Um,
basically also said it's time for everyone to stop complying. Just
yeah,
don't comply.
yeah,
He's
but
like,
now
the
they're
thing that brought down
yeah,
communism was people no longer complied in the lie. And he's like, and this is a lie. Like American exceptionalism, American imperialism is a lie. So stop complying.
yeah, I
It
love
was pretty
that.
remarkable.
I don't read that in your vocoder voice, but I know Trump is speaking today.
No,
So
that's more of a this voice.
that's more of a hubba hubba
Do
voice.
not comply.
Yes, in advance or in present time.
Right.
The time to
Uh,
comply is not
we
now.
have an amazing guest
We do have
today,
an
and we
amazing
should
guest.
bring her on. She's sitting patiently in the green room, waiting for us to get to the frickin' point.
Right. Oh, Cass, this is the point.
Cass Fewell is with us today. I'm trying to figure out which button to push here. I have so many buttons now.
Oh, I
Cass,
know.
hello, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to the Daily Whatever Show, Cass. How's it going?
It's all right. It's all
Good.
right. It's going.
I'm laughing because your name is right behind my mic stand that's right here.
Oh.
You have it, I'm correct. You have it as Cassidy. Do you prefer Cass or Cassidy when we're chatting?
Um, Either one is really fine.
Okay.
Cass is fine because that's how I present myself in Substack, but either one.
That that is how I've been reading your work. And
Yeah.
um I invited you because I read one note of yours and I was like, this note is incredible. I need to know more about this woman. Will you please come on the show? And thank you for taking some stranger on the internet's invitation and saying yes. We're thrilled to have you here today. Your note was about farming, being a rural farmer, but a liberal rural farmer, and the assumptions people make because of where you live
Yeah.
and what you're doing to kind of visually present and also well, just to present as other as the liberal person who you are in this conservative area. I'm paraphrasing it because it's been a few weeks now. Like I think it was over the break.
Yes. It was about a month ago that I posted it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had to wait a long time for this. It
Yeah.
was a beautiful note, and I'm realizing, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience so they're not getting my harebrained 7 a.m. explanation of why I invited you on here.
Yeah, sure. So, I'm Cass or Cassidy. I write here on Substack under Golden Thread Farm, which is the name of my small farm here in Florida. Um, I'm a writer, I'm a mother, I'm a wife. We raise free range chickens and we sell the eggs, and we also collect donations so that we can bring those eggs, free eggs, to the local food pantry, which has been a really cool experience building community off of that. Um, and yeah, I'm a liberal farmer. I am, I was raised a Democrat. I grew up on a farm in Connecticut, the daughter of two public servants. My
Oh,
dad was a teacher before he retired. My mom worked for the town and was always really involved in local politics. And I grew up with these values of taking care of other people, um, thinking about other people's needs, the social contract, and that was not unusual where I
mhm.
grew up in Connecticut. And then I bought a farm here in Florida, and it's very, very different.
So
And
fun fact, Lawrence and I grew up in Florida
okay,
and went to
Uh,
University of Florida. So we're gonna have to. I don't want you to divulge your address or anything like that. But are you South, Central,
West Central.
West
okay.
Central?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We went to
we get
Gainesville.
what that means, basically,
Yeah.
whereabouts you are.
Yeah.
And we grew up in the giant metroplex of like Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Yeah.
very much not rural Florida. And it's interesting, Florida's so big, people don't realize, I think people think beaches and maybe the
Mhm.
Everglades and they think big cities, but people don't realize how much farmland there is in Florida. Like
Hmm.
enormous, enormous swaths of rural Florida.
Oh, yeah. People have, they think exactly like what you said. They think, oh, it's, Miami, it's Tampa, it's Orlando.
Right.
And there's so much
Right.
in between.
Right.
And the state, it takes 8 hours to go from north to south,
We used to drive from South Florida to University of Florida, which is a 6.5 hour drive each
Yeah.
direction, and we must have done that drive 100 times. Dana, don't you think?
I did that drive. I did it a little faster than that. Maybe I should admit that. But oh God, on like, 2 days no sleep after final exams, being
Right.
like, I just need to get home. Speaking of farms and animals, my little dog is here, and I do have to look what I got, Lawrence. I got her
Ooh, that should keep her occupied for an entire show.
days ago, and she's been like sniffing the air around the house looking for it because it was hidden. Would you like this now? I got it to keep you quiet while we're podcasting. She's like sniffing it right now, like for
Cass, these are
me.
the adventures every morning of Kira, Dana's dog,
I
trying
I
to make sure that she is satisfied and not barking in the background.
That's the only treat I've got today. So if that doesn't do the trick, we're doomed.
Yeah.
Then I'll just have to scoop her up and put her on my lap. What made you decide to move from Connecticut, which seems like this maybe it's because we had Senator Anwar on Lawrence. I'm now like, it seems like this sort of utopian place, down to Florida, to rural Florida.
It's a long and convoluted story.
Oh my gosh.
I ended up, well, I was in an abusive relationship when I was in
Oh,
Connecticut for about 7 years.
sorry.
And when I finally left, I just had this random opportunity to move down to Florida with a couple friends who were going to move there. And I kind of just made the jump. I made the leap, and I was like, okay, I'm leaving. Now, this was, 11, 12 years ago, pre-kids, pre-husband, pre-farm.
Yeah.
My life has changed so much since then. But that's how I ended up down here, and I was in Tampa for like 9 years. And
Okay.
then we finally bought the farm after being in Tampa for a while.
I
But
like hearing bought the farm being literal because
Right.
that's
Like
when
good
you-
literal. Like yeah.
yeah.
Life dream come true kind of thing.
yeah. My husband and I, we met at a horse rescue a little bit south of Tampa.
Oh my
And
gosh.
we had horses that we had adopted, and we boarded them at the rescue for a long time. And then we just kind of got sick of the whole city life, and we wanted a change, and we picked up and found our own space and brought the horses and moved the kids with us and
Nice.
Oh
started
my
a whole
gosh.
new chapter.
Don't tell my kids that because they want horses so bad. And if they're like, that's an option. I'm
It's
gonna
an
be doing.
expensive option. I don't recommend it to just anyone.
Right. Oh my gosh. Now, I don't know much about farming, I will admit. How did you learn it all kind of on the job? Like you bought the farm and you were like, okay, what kind of animals are we going to put on this farm? Or did they come there? Like, how does it work when
Well,
you buy the farm?
so having grown up on a goat farm,
Mm,
essentially. So we raised show goats, we bred
mm,
goats, we had sheep, we had llamas, alpacas, chickens, a pony, a donkey. We had like everything on this farm
Yeah.
that I grew up on.
yeah.
Um, so when it was time for us to get our own space and our own land, I knew exactly what I didn't want. I did not want all this whole menagerie of species
Yep.
because it was a lot of work growing up.
Yep.
Um, and I'd always had the horse thing going on. So my plan was originally to focus on horses. I was going to rehab and train horses that came from difficult situations. And that ended up just not working out so well. It was just really cost prohibitive. The overhead was so high. It was so much work.
Mm.
But we had already gotten chickens. And it turned out that I'm that crazy chicken lady that you see on the internet. I love chickens. And when I decided to transition away from the horse training, I was like, well, let's do more chickens. Of course, my husband's like, oh, great, yay, another project. Um, but that's what we did. I started, I came up with a farm name and our own little brands and our story. And my husband's in the middle of building a bigger coop so I can have more chickens. Yay. Um, and everything just kind of snowballed.
Yeah.
I mean, this transition really only happens this year. So I stopped
Oh,
training
wow.
horses in May. I still have my two personal ones, but I don't take any others on. And then around September was when I was like, okay, let's go for this with the chickens. Let's focus on the eggs. Um, and that's what we've been doing. And people started donating money so we could bring eggs to local shelters and
That's
food banks.
amazing.
And it turned into
Oh,
its own, like, kind of unofficial nonprofit type of
Yeah.
thing. So we're just growing from here. This is my this is my
that's
dream,
a,
is to have like a million chickens following me around the yard. So
oh my
Cass, how
God.
much of the decision to focus on chickens and eggs was, like eggs are having a moment in our political discourse, right?
yeah,
And have been for like a year or so now. Was it in any way related to that, or
it was. I
okay,
realized it was all kind of sort of when we started to see the snowball rolling downhill with this administration too. Like I saw the writing on the wall financially and economically. That was one of the things that played into me, rehoming the horses that I had that I was training and not taking any more on because I knew that there was going to be an issue with people not being able to afford these really expensive animals anymore. Um,
Oh, that
and
makes
I saw
sense.
the
mm,
prices of the eggs, and we knew people were asking us, do you have extra eggs? Do you have extra eggs? And I looked at my husband and I was like, well, I think we have something here. And we felt like, drug dealers for a while. Everyone's like, hey, you got some eggs over
right?
there? Like, yeah, we
I
got
got a
a
dozen.
dozen. Yeah. And I was like, and on a selfish level, it felt kind of good because I felt like I had
Yeah.
tried so hard to make it in the equestrian world and to, make a name for myself. And it was so hard. And I felt like I was trying to, sell water at the beach, or
Hmm.
like sell
Yeah.
seawater at the beach, or, just the equivalent of I had something that nobody really seemed to want. And then I had these eggs and everyone's wanting them. Like, and I was like, oh, I feel needed. I like this. And then I realized how much it felt like a good thing to be focusing on it's a very basic need, to eat.
Yeah.
And yet it's one of the hardest things to fulfill in this unequal society. I hadn't really paid that much attention to it until I moved to the county that I'm in, which is incredibly impoverished.
Hmm.
We're
Mhm.
surrounded by broken down trailers. The median income here is $39,000 a year.
Wow.
Oof.
And, we're surrounded by poverty. We have free lunch and breakfast in schools, thank goodness, because there's so many kids here living in poverty. And there are so many people relying on our food banks. And I just kind of looked at how everything was going and how, this whole battle against the rich and the poor, and that the rich just keep richer, and our current government is trying to keep it that way. And people
Yes.
are struggling. And I was like, you know what? This is where I'm meant to be. This is what I'm meant to be doing. I'm meant to be helping people in this very fundamental way. And there's really no other satisfaction better than that. Just knowing that you're actually helping feed people nutritious food. Because I mean, eggs are incredibly nutritious. It's the protein that a lot of people are missing from their diets
Right.
when they have to go to food banks.
Right.
And the only regret I have is that I don't have enough to do what I want to do with it yet. I want to keep growing and be able to feed more people, and be able to kind of create this community and this ethos around helping feed people in our communities.
I feel like the name Golden Thread must kind of be a part of that ethos. Am I right? Is there a connection there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to kind of encompass not just, I didn't want to just talk about, what we produce here, which is, free range eggs. Our chickens are raised with love, but the fact that we stand for something more than that. We stand for, accountability to our communities. We stand for connection, for authenticity, for kindness, for ethics, ethical animal husbandry, how we treat other people. And, just this is who we want to be in the world. This is who I want to be in the world. And I feel like the farm and myself, we kind of have this intrinsically linked identity at this point.
Mhm.
And, I'm just trying to do everything I can to put good stuff out there into the world, because there's so much out there that's not good.
Right.
And, it's just every little bit that we can do
Yeah.
is really important.
I have a really basic question. How many chickens do you have?
Okay, so right now we are down to 10. We lost a bunch. We lost about half
Oh,
of our original flock due to, well, mostly due to a dog attack.
oh
Oh.
no. I'm
Yeah,
so
we
sorry.
lost a few to a dog attack, which was absolutely tragic. We managed to save one, Dolly. She is our big survivor. Um, we didn't think she was going to make it, and we lost a couple to like like a prolapsed event, which is something that occasionally happens with chickens. But we are getting more chicks in the spring,
Oh,
and
good.
so my goal is to have we're getting about 10 per year so that we can kind of rotate and make sure that we have chickens from all laying stages, because they do, live for some time, and you want to make sure that you have hens, who are still laying each year. And
Right.
I refuse to cull my chickens,
Mhm.
Yes.
which makes me different from a lot of other farmers. That's how
Yep.
they stay profitable, is that they cull the older hens. But I won't do that. All of mine have names. They have personalities. I have one named Egghead that she's kind of famous on Substack. She wanders into the house and steals food off the kitchen counter.
Oh
Um,
my God. Egghead. Don't steal
Egghead,
food.
yeah. Um, but my eventual goal is to get more lands, because we are limited by zoning.
Oh, okay.
But in terms of how many chickens we can actually have on our property, my goal is to obtain more land and have around 100 chickens and be able to kind of keep growing in terms of number, but manage it ethically still, where they're all free range and
Right.
nobody is, being tossed out just because they're not laying anymore.
I'm
If
just
you
pick. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lauren.
Well, if you had 100, like if you managed to get to that stage and you had 100 chickens, like how much does that produce? Like how
Well,
many
so
dozen are you getting a day, for
We're
right.
example?
city people.
We're total city people,
Oh
right?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
no.
I
So
don't. Is that like 100 eggs a day? Probably not. Or
no, because it's about a 60% lay rate.
okay,
Um, I mean, ours actually average a little bit higher, just because I'm very conscious of nutrition, and they are free range. So they're very, very happy. There's like no restriction to their movement. Um, so I think mine tend to lay a little bit more than other flocks might, but you're usually looking at it around 60%. So that's around 60 eggs per day.
okay.
Yeah.
60 eggs per day. Is that what you said?
Yeah, if you have 100 chickens, you're looking at
Oh.
about 60 eggs per day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask another silly question? Another like total city boy question? So, eggs when they're laid have a coating on them, right?
Yes.
That
Yep.
most
Bloom.
commercial egg
Mhm.
farmers wash off and then they wax them or they put something different on. I'm assuming that you just leave the egg as it is, right?
I do, yes. Because our buyers are people that we know, like our direct buyers, and then
Right.
everything else is pretty much donations, and we're giving them to food banks, and they go ahead and wash them before they give them to the people that are taking them.
Right.
And also, like, we donate to the cold weather shelters, so they'll just wash them ahead of time. But that bloom, the original bloom on the egg, is what enables you to leave them on the counter. And you can actually leave eggs on the counter for like a couple weeks safely.
Right. That was kind
That's
of
what
where I
I've
was
heard.
going
Yeah.
is that like what us city folk don't realize is that a naturally laid egg that is unwashed is
Right.
actually really shelf stable for a long period of time.
Right, it is. The only difference is the big commercial egg farmers, there are regulations that they have to wash these eggs. And if I were to expand any further into actually like selling direct to consumers, I would also have to get special licensing to do that because I'm doing everything so like, small time and it's not going directly to consumers for the most part. It's
Hmm.
very different. Um, but like, for example, in Europe, you can actually sell eggs straight off, without washing them because
Right.
they give their chickens salmonella vaccines.
Ah,
Here in
Oh.
the United States, we don't do that,
right.
which is why you have to wash your eggs first, and regulations are different.
So the anti-vax movement has made it all the way to the chickens.
You wouldn't believe it if I told you some of the things that I've heard from like the equestrian community, people who refuse to vaccinate their horses. Like it's,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I
it's
would
travel.
absolutely believe it. And
Right. At this stage, I think we'd believe it.
Yeah.
So,
um,
I, kind of maybe getting into the political a little bit. Your beautiful post. I read your post as well about kind of being. I think you were in like a feed store or something, right? And
Hmm.
in line, and the cashier and a guy were talking, and they said something about liberals, and you just kind of walked up and put your stuff down, and you were like,
yeah, me.
I'm a liberal. Liberals look like
Yeah.
anybody."
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
What is do you have any sense for percentage? Like, are there other liberal farmers? Like, is there a meetup?
Well, I found them through that post.
Nice.
I ended up getting a lot of comments from other liberal farmers who were like, "Yeah, right on. I'm just like you, and I'm surrounded too." And people just assume that I'm like them, but I'm not. Um, it. I first noticed this big the strain that I was feeling, around election time when I was like, oh, I knew I lived in a ruby red area, a very MAGA area, but I hadn't realized how many people I dealt with day to day. I started to feel this personal strain with, um, because I am in these more traditionally conservative spaces, we tend to think of. And people just kind of assume you're wearing the boots, you're wearing the hat and the
Right.
flannel, you must be just like that. And I felt it from other liberals too, who didn't necessarily realize I'm with them. They're like, oh,
Right.
and it does. I felt like I was being put in this really weird, like crosshairs kind of where I love my life on the farm. I wear the outfit because that's the work I'm doing. Um, but it didn't, we assign so much importance to how people present themselves
Hmm.
Yeah.
visually, and fashion, and style tends to do the talking for us. And, I feel like the post that I wrote took off so much and it went viral because it challenged this very core stereotype that we have that if you're wearing camo, you must be, a Bible thumping, super ultra conservative, person. And that's not necessarily true. I don't know how many of us are really in this kind of middle
Hmm.
exactly. I don't have a number, but I do know that there were several people who commented and said, either A, thank you so much for proving to me that not every, rural person or farmer is this like super red hat wearing MAGA person. Or, thank you for speaking up because now I feel like I'm not alone. I have a farm and I also, you know, encounter these people in Tractor Supply too.
Yeah.
Do you
I've been. Oh, go
so
ahead, Dana. Sorry.
so no, it's okay. Do you sense any sort of shift given how hard things have been for farmers with some of the tariffs that have been put on and just the atrocious acts that is that ICE are doing to everybody at this point, not
Right.
just minorities, but and immigrants. Are you seeing a shift?
I have seen Trump flags come down
Mm.
at houses that
Interesting.
used to have them up all the time. And I was kind of I'm always a little bit leery about assigning, like how
Right.
much does this, were they just sick of the flag? Like, did the flag rip? Like, you're always
Right.
kind of like, around here. Um, but I do think a lot of people have kind of gotten to this point where they're like, wait a second, they're saying grocery prices are coming down, but they're not. They're
Or
going
not.
up,
Right. Not in my
you
grocery
know.
store.
If they're saying that gas is 1.99, it's not, and I think some people are seeing like my life is not getting easier, it's getting harder. So I do think there are some people that have sort of started to shift, and we do have a small group here that we do a lot of local protests, and more people are kind of joining, and it's still a very small
Oh,
group, but we've always had the few people, driving around with their middle finger in the air, threatening us, yelling at us, whatever. Um, but there are more and more people driving by, honking their
right.
horns and waving,
Mhm.
and which is, it means a lot in the area that I'm in, because this area didn't even have a Democrat on the local ballot for I don't know how long. I
Right.
mean, there's not even a Democratic choice. Like, it's Republican or Republican.
Right.
So, um,
That's like
you know,
Seattle, but the opposite.
yeah, yeah. So it does mean a lot that there are more people who are kind of, I'm feeling an energy shift here. Like, I'm seeing
Hmm.
a little bit more. There's definitely still the hardcore, people with their Trump bumper stickers and whatever, and that guy who was yelling about liberals and Tractor Supply. But I think they're
Oof.
fewer and more far between at this point. And I've seen, I think, two MAGA hats in the past couple of months out and about.
Hmm.
Like, not nearly as many as you would think, given where I am.
Right.
That's encouraging,
And
at
probably
least.
as used to be.
Right.
Not as, yeah, it used to be much more. And like, there's this person, they drive around a Trump bus, like it's a literal RV covered in flags and bumper stickers. And like, it's ridiculous.
Americans are so weird. Do you ever feel
Weird.
any sense of resentment of like, I'm giving you food because we're in hard political times and you're still voting for the man who put you in these hard times?
That's a tough nut for me to crack, honestly, because I
Yeah.
know that probably most of the people that my food is, that these eggs are going to are
Hmm.
Trump voters, and they may not be, I don't know, I don't know if they're
These are
educating
liberal eggs.
themselves. I don't know. These, right, right. But I kind of look at it in the same way that, like, you know, that whole Minnesota clash between Jake Lang and, the anti-ICE protest, anti-Nazi protesters, right? There is this black guy that stood up, and
Yeah.
Jake, and he basically saved Jake Lang from himself
Hmm.
Yeah, he
Right.
and
did.
pulled him away from the crowd. And I kind of see it like that. Like, you know, I don't know exactly who you voted for. And if we had a conversation, I would probably be pretty angry with you if it turned out that you were still vehemently for what's happening. But I can't betray who I am at my core.
Right.
So you know, and we need to show the world too. A lot of it is, I used to work in copywriting, so I'm very aware of messaging.
Yes.
And,
You're in good
there's a
company here.
message. Yeah, there's a message there too. It's like, we do have the humanity on our side.
Right.
So let's put that humanity out there. And I think a lot of the time, we tend to think of these people as just purely hateful, you know, far right radical bigots, right? And there are certainly some of those.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's this tragic lack of education and awareness. And that is our main issue in this country. I mean, we have what? It's like 50% or 60% of adults read at eighth grade level,
Hmm.
15% read at college level. And so, it's very easy to kind of flip into this, oh, they're just all a bunch of stupid, hateful idiots. But, you know, I don't know. I've seen evil with my own eyes. I've met evil. I've fought evil with my own two hands. I've seen evil, and then I've seen the misled. I've seen the ignorant. I've seen the scared, the people who they don't have a good sense of self. They don't have a good sense of who they are in the world. And I think a lot of these people are truly scared and just not fully aware of what's happening. And it's very easy to take that fear and start spouting off about these other people. They look different from me. They worship differently from me. They have different relationships from me. They're the bad ones,
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that everybody who says these things and comes off as thinking these things really truly believes these things.
Right.
Because I lived in a town for a long time with my ex who was an abusive alcoholic, and her family was very much right-wing, conservative. They used racial epithets constantly, and there were some people in that family who you could see they had that truly evil intent, true hatred in their hearts.
Yeah.
But then there were other people who just kind of went along with it. And they were all abused. These were all people who were victims of abuse in their own homes. So I do wonder how much of, Trump, how many Trump supporters are emotionally or physically or financially or in other ways abused in their lives.
We
I
we
would
had
guess
a
that
guest
number is
on
huge.
not too long ago. Your weirdo friend, and they made this observation on the show that was so profound and I think so right on, which is
Yes.
that authoritarianism, like what Trump is doing, and authoritarianism is just domestic violence writ large, right? Like it's DV at
Yes.
like the
At
full
scale.
social
Yeah.
scale.
I actually wrote a brief note about that a few months ago, that anybody who has experienced narcissistic abuse recognizes what is going on at the national level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all being gaslit. We're all being
Absolutely.
told we're stupid, right? We're all
Mhm.
being told that it's our fault, and
Mhm.
Yep.
and it's a giant con in the same way that your ex-partner was conning you, right? And
Mhm.
I've been in a relationship like that. My ex-husband was like that, and so yeah, it is hard to have come from a relationship like that and survived a relationship like that,
Mhm.
and then see it happening at the national level and not just be like, everybody just wake up.
Yeah.
It's
It's
why
not
we're
you, it's him.
right. And
Yeah.
we're all so shook by it. For me, I mean, it's my dad and Trump look and sound so much alike. And my dad lives in a memory care in Florida. He has more advanced dementia than our president, but not by that much. Some days I see, and my dad's a New Yorker as well, and I just see Trump sometimes, and I'm like, that looks and sounds exactly like my dad.
Yeah,
But when
I
you
know
grow,
Dana's dad can vouch.
yeah, when yeah, we've known each other since the fourth grade. Lawrence and I, we grew
Oh,
up in South Florida together, so we go way back. And yeah, if you have had to learn how to duck and get away from that kind of abuse, yeah, you see it, and it's a really trapped feeling to be like, oh my God, and now he's ruling the literal world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I have to be around his disciples all the time. Thankfully, like I live in Seattle, there are like Republicans kind of have to hide here. They're here, but it's kind of the opposite of where you are now, and it's one of the only places in the country I kind of feel like that's the case. I think what you are doing is wonderful and good, that you are able to say you're human and you need to be fed, whatever your beliefs are. I hope the people who are eating your eggs, which I'm sure are delicious because they're so fresh, uh, have at least something happening in here of like, wow, this is being provided to me not because of our leaders.
Mhm.
I need this support because of the actions of our leaders. I can't afford to go buy the eggs. It's so maddening. I can imagine how nice it is, though, to be like, my focus today is on taking care of these birds.
It is incredibly it is it's my therapy, really.
Right.
Yeah,
Really
it
and
comes through in your
truly.
writing. And
It
I would, sorry,
No,
go,
no,
go
keep
ahead.
going. Sorry.
But no, it's the one problem of having three people on a live where
Oh,
we
yeah.
slightly are like, no, you, no, really you. I wanted to, I heard that theme in your poem that you read. I'm gonna put a link to it in the chat because it's your most recent post. If anyone
Mhm.
is on Cass's profile, and it's called "Words for a Slain Poet." It says you spoke these words at a vigil. Was the vigil in your hometown?
So it was in a neighboring town,
Okay.
which is kind of like the seat of our county, and that's
Hmm.
where we hold a lot of our protests, and we did hold a vigil. And I had written the poem several weeks before, and it just like I was asked to speak at the vigil, and I was like, what am I going to say, that hasn't been said before? Um, and I was like, this poem really says it all for me because it
Yeah.
talks about, you know, Renee Good was a poet herself, so I
Yeah.
felt it was appropriate to present a poem in her memory because it talks about how, all this stuff is happening, and yet there's still life happening at
Yes.
the same time,
Hmm.
and I constantly kind of wrestle with the fact that, I go out in the morning and I let my chickens out of the coop and I watch them run around all excited, like looking for bugs. And, the sun rises and the crows are hopping around.
Yep.
And this is life. Like, this is truly what life is. And then on top of it, there's this veneer of just shitty human behavior.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's life too. But then how can you have this life and this life? And they all coexist in this soup of
Yep.
existence. And, I think we're all kind of at this point right now where we're all kind of going, what the hell? Like
Right.
we're trying to go to work and
Yeah.
take care of our kids and check in on our friends, and we do the things, right? We do the laundry, we clean the kitchen, we go grocery shopping, and we're doing all the regular life things that we would have been doing before. And then on top of it, there's just this pile of burden. Um,
Hmm.
and all this stuff. And some of it's so far away from some of us, obviously not if you're like in Minnesota, but for a lot of us, we're physically removed from what's happening. So we're seeing it play out on social media. And we know it's happening. But then at the same time, like here on my farm, I can walk out my door and it's completely silent, pretty much. And it's
Yeah.
just a very surreal feeling to know that this is happening. And at the same time, life continues to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dissonance of that is really hard these days. I don't live on a
Yeah.
serene farm. I live in a city that yesterday I showed up was two schools went on lockdown because ICE was close by, and Seattle Public Schools not always the greatest, but I credit them. They went on lockdown and they were like, mm-mm, nobody's coming in the school. So so no kids were taken, but having to face that and then also be like, I'm making my kids lunches, going into work, I have to
Mhm.
get these things done. The dissonance of the day to day and the catastrophic changes in our country can create such whiplash, and you express it so beautifully here. I'm almost tempted to ask you to read it, but I don't want to put you on the spot. It's really like the it's so lyrical. Your writing is just beautiful.
Thank you. I mean, I can read it if you want. I would have to find it, look it up, but
I have it pulled up. I can send you the link if you're willing to. I don't want to make you feel put on the spot.
let's see. I
I'll
have it
put
on
it
my
in the
phone.
chat. Okay.
Okay, I have it on my phone. I can read it.
All right.
Okay.
Please read your words,
Amazing.
Cassidy. It's so pretty.
Okay. Uh, it's called The Crows Don't Know. The crows dropped a rib bone in the horse's water bucket. It was picked almost entirely clean. They flew blithely away, not thinking, as I do, about the 67-year-old man whose ribs were cracked on pavement under the weight of fascist boots. The mockingbird in the oak tree sang, regaling no one in particular with its collection of borrowed melodies. And it sang on, not aware, as I am, of the daycare teacher snatched away in front of her wailing students. At every turn, the berries are plucked by the beaks of the hungry, the leaves gnawed by eager mandibles, the skies circled by the feathered ones who are merciless yet just in their renderings of fate. And the sun sets on another list of atrocities, lives upended, humans disappeared into cages, children deprived of dinner by the owners of gilded rooms. But the crows don't know. They're doing their last forage of the evening now, searching the pasture as they gather and hop intensely around. As the hush of evening settles like a blanket and the hens quietly retreat to their roost for the night, the moon begins its bright scrutiny over the day's results. And it finds an equal balance the flapping of the wings, the dropped rib bone, the cracked ribs, the devoured berries, the full cages, the empty plates. The crows, wherever they are now, will peacefully sleep, and I will lie in the dark with the moon aglow in my window, curtains drawn against the pressing of the night, and I will not.
It, it's prettier when you read it than when the like automated voice read it to me this morning through Substack. Thank you. Thank you for your words.
Beautiful.
I mean, I am not a connoisseur of poetry, but I know enough to hear that that was magnificent writing, that
Thank
the
you.
tone of the words and how it unfolds is lovely, and it's just expressing a sentiment I think we're all dealing with now of like
Yeah.
the pain and the beauty and the neutrality of what's happening around us while we see all of these injustices. I love that you read this for Renee Nicole Good, and I don't know her, obviously. I didn't know her. I think she would have loved having this beauty read at her memorial and her tribute. So,
Yeah. And the chat is going crazy, Cass, by the way. Like, you're
oh
getting
yeah,
tons and tons of compliments in the chat.
Oh, so
yeah,
sweet.
it is lovely, and it's hard to ask another question after that. But I think the related one is like, can you talk a bit about why you joined Substack and what will look like success to you on Substack?
Well, I first joined because I have been a writer for a very long time, and I never really found a home for my work, for where I belonged. And I was kind of searching for my identity for a long time. I worked as a copywriter for a little over a decade, and I stopped doing personal writing for a long time during that
Right.
time.
Hmm.
It just kind of killed something in my soul, to be honest. The corporatization of what I was doing, I was so kind of just downtrodden for a long time.
Right.
Does that
Dana
sound
and I are
familiar,
both writers
Lawrence?
and feel that very
Does that
strongly.
feel familiar to you at all?
Yeah.
Ah,
And I picked it back up around the time that I found out that I was getting laid off.
oof, yeah.
Um, and they gave us like a 6-month lead time. So I knew in advance, and then um, I was still working, but I knew it was going to end.
Yeah.
And I kind of was just searching for myself again. I guess. And I was still wrestling with being a liberal equestrian in Florida, where I felt very much like an outsider in a lot of situations, and I didn't really know where I belonged. Did I belong with the, the liberal activists? Did I belong with the other equestrians? I didn't really have my own tribe, and I actually started out as, I think it was liberal liberty horsewoman, which is a mouthful, but I was trying to just I was like, I'm going to talk about horses and being liberal. And that's how I
Yeah.
started. And a lot of it at first was just kind of your average kind of angry, political, blurb or whatever. And then I
Sure.
started writing a little bit more. And then I was in the middle of this transition between horses and chickens and figuring out who I am and knowing I was about to be laid off and trying to figure out my life direction. And I just kind of, I transitioned the name and I transitioned my focus and I dug down deep into myself and I just started kind of writing from this place in my gut for the first time in a very long time. And honestly, Substack has been one of the greatest gifts in my life. I have met
Oh,
so
wow.
many incredible, thoughtful, intelligent people here. I mean, I've seen some of the most incredible comments. I've read the most incredible posts. This is really where, to me, the top tier of society exists on social media. This is
Yes.
where all the good people are, and this is where I want to stay. And I've just been so fortunate to find a community here and so many people who connect with what I'm writing about. And to me, success is really the comments that I get that say, "You inspired me to speak out," or
Yeah.
this reminds me of something in my life, or I feel like I'm not alone, or thank you for bringing some light into my day because I was having a hard day. Because I do post I write some serious things, but I also post some lighthearted things like videos of my chicken eating, a tomato on my counter, things like that. And because I don't know, I aim to bring the love, really. I want to share my peace. I want to share my thoughts, but I'm trying to just kind of add a little glimmer of light for people. And just knowing that that's what I'm doing is so much fulfillment for me. Um, I just, I don't know, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep, try reaching down further and writing the things that matter, telling the stories that haven't been told, in my perspective, and sharing what I think helps other people to hear. Um, I want it to be a happy place, a
Right.
thought-provoking place too. I don't want to dwell on everything that's going on because I think we all need a break from that.
Yeah.
But for me, my life has been so much about doing something for the bigger picture, doing something bigger, working towards something bigger than myself. And I'm just gonna do what I can do. I guess, that's all we can do is just I feel like this is my contribution.
Yeah.
And I want to expand that contribution as much as I can. I'm going to be exploring probably in the next few weeks, kind of seeing what that looks like. Like what does it look like to expand Golden Thread Farm, not just physically, but in what we do for the community or for, our Substack community or for kind of the world in general. Like, what does it mean to spread our message? Like what we stand for? What does that look like?
Ah, that's
Amazing.
beautiful. I
Yeah.
totally agree about Substack as well. I I think we're here at a really remarkable moment in time. And I hope it can stay this sense of like-minded people, intelligent people, kind people who are looking to build community. And it is an honor to show up here every day. We're so glad you joined us. This is your first appearance on our show, so we have a question for you that we ask everyone. And also, I believe this is your first live. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, I've never done this before.
Oh gosh,
You're
you're natural. You're fantastic.
you're a total pro. We always keep an eye to the chat. I have two windows open, and I'm sure Lawrence does too.
Yeah, I
Uh,
do.
we have Karen Murray Shelton helping us as kind of moderator of our chat so that we can have our attention on you. But I do want to tell you that like the chat is just full of love for you
Oh,
and singing your praises. I hope everyone goes and subscribes to you to keep up with your writing and your amazing videos of your chickens because we all need some chicken love. So
yes, we do.
please, everyone do that. We have a hard-hitting question we like to end on. Very hard-hitting. I'm kidding. I know you are not a member of Gen X, you're a little younger, but I'm still going to ask the question, which is, what is the most Gen X song of all time?
Oh, Gen X.
Yeah. So if you're watching a movie and it's a Gen X focused,
We're very self-centered here. We're
Yes.
keeping it on Gen X, but you could answer for your generation too if you want.
Okay, because I'm a millennial, so
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a geriatric millennial, they like to
Yes.
call me.
I love
Right.
that term.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm going to
Okay.
fail this question because
It's
there's so
okay.
much
Answer for your generation then. What's the
for
most
my
geriatric
generation.
millennial song of all time?
Well, this actually reminds me of a video that I watched where it's like, Grandma, play me songs from your generation. It's like 1950s. It's like, oh, Frank Sinatra
Yeah.
or whatever. And then they get to millennials and it's like Pitbull and
Yeah.
Ludacris.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Baby Got Back.
Okay.
I think we get Baby Got Back.
I knew that Dana was going to object and say that was a
That
Gen
is a
X song.
Gen X song. I mean, Sir Mix-a-Lot is like our age, and he lives here in Seattle. Like, I don't know him personally, but I'm like
He
one
lives in
degree.
Seattle.
Oh yeah. Do you remember My Posse's on Broadway? His other song next to Baby Got Back.
Oh,
My
yeah.
Posse's on Broadway. That's all about him driving on Broadway down Capitol Hill. I'm driving up to Dick's. That's a burger chain in Seattle. Like, he's detailing what is really not a very exciting street.
Yeah.
He goes from the Taco Bell to the Dick's. But Lawrence and I used to live like a block off Broadway. And yeah, he's local here. He's a Seattle guy. It's a great song though, and even my Gen Z kids love Baby Got Back. Like that is a timeless song. So everyone can have
Right.
it.
Everyone loves that song.
Everyone.
Even if it was scandalous when it came out, it is now a classic.
Was it scandal? I feel like it was always so tongue in cheek that he could get away with saying things about his
Oh,
anaconda.
I absolutely remember. I remember people older than us being like, pearl clutching over Baby Got Back. And I was like, really? Every song is about sex and love. Like every song ever.
But you can do side bends or sit-ups. But
Right.
please
This
don't
one is
lift
just
that
way
butt.
more honest.
Oh, it's a fabulous pick, I think, for both of our generations. So you're recorded in the annals of the Daily Whatever Show. One day,
Right.
Lawrence,
Our hard-hitting question.
we really should have been keeping track all along with like a spreadsheet of what every
A
person
playlist, right? So many people have been
Yes.
like, surely these are all in a playlist somewhere, and they're not, because we're not that adept. If we ever have a ton of spare time, we can go back and
Yes.
re-listen to all of them and make the playlist.
I could probably remember at least half of them because they're definitely repeating songs like Nirvana and the Cranberries get quite a few votes. But also more like Duran Duran, Michael Jackson.
It's interesting
era
though that
stuff.
like elder millennials like yourself tend to like I feel like there's a lot of overlap in what we consider a Gen X song and what gets considered a millennial song. And it's really, that time period of like the folks who were born sort of late 70s into the 80s and, then into the 80s a bit. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's a great question to end every episode with because it lightens the mood. The chat is full of song suggestions. And I see Prince getting a vote here, which and now a whole new generation has been exposed to Stranger Things, which I thought was a little forced in the episodes, but they're great songs. So whatever. Well,
I agree. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it too. He was amazing, and he knew the revolution was going to happen in Minneapolis.
Right. Yep.
He knew it. So
Cass, thank you so much for joining us. This was amazing. You're so cool. We're so grateful that you could come join us and hang out. And I, for one, need to come visit Golden Thread Farm and try some, nicely raised eggs.
Hey, come on down.
I wish we could try your eggs. I bet they are amazing. I love farm fresh eggs.
They are very good,
Me
I
too.
have to say.
Oh my gosh. Next time we have you on, we're going to need some recipes. What do you do with your eggs?
Oh, well, I'm not exactly a cook, but
I currently am craving deviled eggs. After all of our
Oh.
egg talk, I am probably going to go make some deviled eggs this afternoon.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's my husband's favorite. He'll just eat like a whole platter of deviled eggs all by himself. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm that guy too. I'm like, oh great, there's a dozen deviled eggs. Thank you for giving me my serving. Did you want some? Go make more.
We have to hide them. Yeah.
Yeah.
For my
I have a
husband.
few hard-boiled ones in my fridge from a kind of Northwest farm. And they are delicious. So yeah, those might be awaiting me upstairs. Thank you, Cass, for joining us. Thank you to everyone in the chat for all of your contributions. We love having you here. And yeah, have a wonderful, what day is it today? Wednesday.
Right.
That's where we are today. Take care, all.
All right. Thanks
Love you,
everybody.
Mina.
Thanks, Cass.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.